Hello and welcome to High Value Writing. I'm Erin. This video will have an ESL EFL focus. If you're using English for your writing or speaking, but you knew other languages first, you could be making a mistake with your subjects, especially if you are also a Spanish speaker or translate writing from Spanish to English, because Spanish and English behave a little differently at the subject-verb area. So let's look today at how we use our subject in English, right? Many languages, you end up actually stating your subject twice in a sentence, phrase, or clause. But with English, we only want to do that once. So let's take a look. Here we have 3 example sentences where I have said my subject twice. Now, this is not what we want to do, but we'll look at these examples first. So we have my friend, she got a new job. I've said the regular noun in the green and the pronoun in the maroon. So I've kind of restated that person 2 times. You may have found this in your own writing if you have a background in Spanish or certain other languages. It is a good one, the decision. Same thing, I've said the it and the decision. That marketing webinar, it will be held in March. Again, I've repeated 2. So in reality, in English, we do not want to do these. So let's X out those pronouns. All we need is saying that noun once. My friend got a new job. The decision is a good one. The marketing webinar will be held in March, right? So why does this mistake happen? Well, it's very, very natural, very logical if you come from a Spanish-speaking background. Let's look at some examples, and I'll get to embarrass myself with some Spanish. Okay, same sentence. Mi amiga tiene un nuevo trabajo, right? Well, it sounds like it's the same as my friend got a new job, but when you go deeper into the tiene, we know inside that verb is actually a subject and a verb, right? And we would say that verb differently for different subjects. So in a way, the Spanish version does have us state the subject twice. We get amiga, and then we get the implied ella. So it's very natural that a Spanish speaker would then think, oh, in English, I will say, my friend, she got a new job. But it's not necessary. Actually, all we need to do is say, my friend got a new job, because the verbs work a little differently in English. So just a habit to start looking at. Let's look at another example from earlier. Okay, now we're talking about the webinar. El seminario web es útil. It's useful, right? But if you break out the S, it actually means it is, LS. So the it is in there again. So of course then someone with a Spanish-speaking background would potentially write the webinar it is useful. Same idea though, we do not need to do that. We can just say the subject once and not worry about stating it again the way it would have been included in the verb in Spanish. So difference between how we use Spanish and English here. In both languages, we have our subject and our verb, but in Spanish, the verb also implies the subject again. We don't need to do that in English. So let's look at a final example to wrap it up, and feel free to leave questions if you'd like to look at more examples. If I want to say, we think the idea is a good one, I could also say, we think it is a good one, if we already knew what we were talking about, but I would not do both. I would not say we think the idea it is a good one. I would either say the idea or it. Similarly, my colleague agrees or she agrees. I don't need to say my colleague, she agrees. I can just say my colleague or she. So in English, you just do it once, even though in Spanish, we do it twice. And that's kind of how it works. So let me know if that tip was helpful, and let me know about some other grammar challenges you might be facing. Thanks. Have a great day.